Hello everyone. Here's a detailed explanation of various ways to use large language models and how to run them locally with network setup for a company. The various ways of using LLMs are using LLMs via web or app. LLMs can be integrated into web applications and mobile apps to provide AI-powered functionalities. So, how it works? Users interact with app through a UI like, for example, chatbot, search bar, or text editor. The web or app sends requests to LLM backend that includes like OpenAI API or any local model. The next process is the LLM process the input and returns a response through the API call. Some of the use cases of the web or app interfaces are chatbots, content generation AIs, text summarization, and voice assistants. Next way of using LLMs are LLMs using LLMs via APIs. APIs allow developers to integrate LLMs into applications without hosting the model themselves. So how does it work? Send a request to an AI endpoint like OpenAI or Coher AI or any other AIs. The model process the request in the cloud, not in the actual server. Uh, then the API returns the result through the call. Some popular LLM APIs are GPT-4 and the Hugging Face open source API models like Bloom or Google's Palm API. The next way of using the LLMs are replicating models from Hugging Face. Hugging Face is a platform that gives or, or open sourcely gives the LLM models that can be run on our local machine and can be deployed on our local servers. Instead of using LLM APIs, you can download and run models locally from Hugging Face. So, how to replicate a model? The various steps like installing Hugging Face libraries like transformers and PyTorch. From the transformers, we can import the models like auto model for casual LM and some other things. And finally, after loading the model, we can run the inference. The advantages of using the LLM models through the Hugging Face interface are there are no API costs, full control over data privacy, and no data leakages. And it is also available offline. We can access it on our local machine. The next one is deploying LLMs on a local server. Running LLMs on your own server ensures data privacy and control. Steps to deploy an LLM locally are first of all, we need to set up a server. For that, we need to install a OS on our server, uh, like Ubuntu or Linux. And also, we should have a high-end graphics and high hardware support, like GPU of NVIDIA's RTX 4090 or A100, etc. The further process is we need to install the dependencies that are required to run an LLM on our local server, which includes transformers, fast APIs, UVCon, and other dependencies. After installing the dependencies, we can run the LLM as an API calls through the API endpoints using the fast APIs in Python. Later, we can access through the fast API servers. The fifth one is we can use LLMs using retrieval augmented generation RAGT. It improves LLMs by fetching external knowledge. How it works? The system retrieves relevant documents from a database. The LLM processes these documents before generating a response. This improves accuracy for real-time or factual queries. Example use cases are AI answering legal or medical queries by retrieving actual laws or research papers. Six type of way of using an LLM is fine tuning an LLM model. Fine tuning generally solves a specific task that we need to perform. So it uses a already pre-trained model and and the particular topic that we need to give so that we can fine tune the AI model or LLM model on the particular topic so that it can perform our task. Steps to fine tune an API model is LLM model is we need to collect the custom data that needs to be given to the LLM model so that it can be trained on that custom data and can be fine tuned on it. Next one, after collecting the custom data, the data should be converted to an LLM friendly format like JSON or comma separated value like CSV files. Further, we should train the model on this data so that the model gets fine tuned on this data and can perform the tasks that are given by us. The next part of using the LLM models are through the AI agents. AI agents are self-operating AI models that complete the complex tasks autonomously. Use cases are like AI customer support bots, AI trading bots, or automated research assistants. And the final step of using an LLM model is building the base models without just like randomly using the fine tuning of the LLM models. Building the base model generally takes more time, more processing, and and more hardware costs also. A base model is the original pre-trained model before fine tuning. Some of the base model examples are GPT-3, Llama, or GPT-4, and Mistral. Generally, GPT-4 have large parameters and the cost is also very high. And among all the list, its performance is very high and it is rated as excellent. So base model is trained on general data that can solve any general queries or any general tasks. But fine-tuned model is trained on a specific data so that it can perform the specific task. After this, local LLM deployment. So local LLM deployment is running an LLM model locally on our server and on our machines. Local deployment enhances data privacy and reduces latency and saves costs. It generally includes a high CPU or GPU hardware requirements. For example, to deploy an LLM Llama Model 3 on local server, you can use it through a Docker image and importing a Docker image and running it as a container on our server. Generally, it requires a high core CPU which has more than 12 cores and a good graphic card that is installed and also a GPU of NVIDIA's at least 4070 or 4090 which which on all which on above all costs around 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs. So to run an LLM model, first we should set up a private AI network for a company using an on-premise servers like AWS cloud uh, so that only the organization's people can use the cloud-based services to ensure data security. After that, to restrict the users from the outside of the world other than the organization, we should set up a secure network that uses firewalls and VPNs to restrict access. So after setting the secure network, we can deploy the LLM API locally. It can be done through the Python's Flask library through the fast API calls from the private AI API that is also already installed on our server. Later, we can improve or enhance this by using the user authentication so that it restricts the users that are uh, not authenticated uh, and not on our users list and they're outside of the world. So in conclusion, the real world applications and success stories that includes fraud detection almost reduced to 25% in many organizations were using an LLM model uh, locally. It also reduced 20% costs and also increased the 50% sales. So using the uh, AI models to the full potential without any data leakage or data privacy that must be is very crucial in our organization so we can use the LLM model locally on our server. So in conclusion, LLMs can be used via web or APIs or local deployment. Fine tuning and retrieval augmented based LLM improves accuracy and reliability. Deploying locally provides better privacy and security. Thank you for investing your time.